On Global TV News Prime, FCT ministers aid defend Wike over Abuja flooding. The Business Nigeria Economic Summit Group pushes manufacturing sector revival. And on the foreign scene, Lula Bolsonaro kick off Brazil presidential campaign. And in sports, National Institute for Sports begin 8-week basic coaching program in Uyo. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Start Times channel 276, and Free TV. Now the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated former head of state General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida on his 85th birthday, describing him as a significant figure whose legacy remains prominent in Nigeria's political history. In a message signed by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, Tinubu said Babangida's 8-year administration left enduring marks on the country's political, economic, and geographical landscape through infrastructure development, economic expansion, and the creation of institutions that continue to serve national interest. The president also commended Babangida's role in the creation of new states and his continued counsel to the nation from Mina, while wishing the former military leader good health, renewed strength, and many more years. The Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, Lere Olayinka, has defended the FCT administration following flood recorded in parts of Abuja after heavy rainfall on Saturday. Olayinka said flooding was not a new problem in the capital and had occurred before Wike became FCT minister. Olayinka stated that it was wrong to blame the minister for the latest flooding recorded in some parts of the city. He noted that the heavy rainfall caused flooding in some areas, but the water later receded. He added that the FCT administration was aware of the challenges and was taking steps to reduce the risk of future flooding. Over now to Osun State governorship election has produced a second term for Governor Ademola Adeleke, who defeated the All Progressive Congress candidate Bola Oyebamiji by 66,252 votes. But beyond the result, the poll was characterized by high voter turnout, reports of gunshots, ballot box snatching, arrest, and allegations of attempts to manipulate results. Anita Patrick tells us more. We apologize that reports will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. Overnight, the Nigerian Customs Service has handed over 399 seized rifles and an assortment of firearms parts recovered at the Tinkan Island Port Command to the Office of the National Security Advisor, Comptroller General of Customs Adewola Adeniyi, handed over the recovery to the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in Lagos, saying the service had completed coupling and detailed examination of the arms haul, describing the seizure as a major blow to illegal arms proliferation in the country. He said recovered items included 89 frames, 16 heat shields, 10 trigger pins, 3 pistols, 25 locking lugs, 80 charging handles, 39 pistol grip screws, 34 springs, 57 trigger groups, 66 4-grip latches, 45 4-grips handguards, 4 pistol grips, and 4 barrels. Adeniyi said 399 fully assembled firearms were also recovered, adding that 2 suspects were arrested in connection with the smuggled firearms. Former Kano State Governor and 2027 Nigeria Democratic Congress Vice Presidential candidate Dr. Rabiu Kwakwaso has said his decision to pair with Peter Obi in next year's presidential election was driven by national interest, equity, and the need for political change. He said, declared that former governors Ibrahim Shekarau and Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, as well as incumbent governor Abba Yusuf, have lost their political relevance in Kano State. Kwankwaso stated this while reflecting on the political fortunes of former members of his political family who had fallen out with him. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has warned drug barons and traffickers that the agency will continue to dismantle their networks and cut off the financial resources sustaining their operations. Marwa spoke in Lagos at Navy Town, Ojo, during the court-ordered destruction of nearly 330 tons of assorted illicit drugs valued at over 301 billion naira. Kikelomo Okeri has the details.
The chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, says the massive consignment represents a major blow to organized crimes, as drug trafficking provides funding for terrorism, violent extremism, and other criminal activities. The NDLA chairman noted that the agency will intensify operations against drug cartels, financiers, distributors, and dealers, while strengthening collaboration with security agencies, the judiciaries, and other stakeholders.
Distributor and dealer who continues to poison our communities, I want you to hear this loud and clear from me. Your days of operating with impunity are over. No longer business as usual. Wherever you hide, whoever sponsors you, and however sophisticated you think your network may be, the long arm of the NDLEA will reach you.
He says the destroyed drugs weighing 329,865 kilograms were seized between April 2025 and May 2026 by various NDLA commands operating in Lagos.
And 83,001.05 kilograms from the Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Tinkan, and Apapa Strategic Commands, as well as Marine Command and CITF.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Bimbola Salau Hundeyin, commended the NDLEA and its partners for the sustained fight against drug abuse and trafficking.
It reminds us that when institutions unite around a shared purpose, the law becomes more than an instrument of enforcement. It becomes a force for hope, justice, peace, security, prosperity, and lasting transformation.
The Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, also commended the agency, stressing that the seizures represent billions of naira in lost investment for drug traffickers.
This milestone event, when we look at what we have to destroy today, over 300 tons of illicit drug, this is very, very big. And I think NDLEA deserves all the accolades they have received from local and international partners.
The destruction of illicit drug is part of the sustained effort by the NDLEA to deny criminal networks access to illicit profit and strengthen Nigeria's fight against drug-related crimes and insecurity. Kikelomo Okeri, Global TV News.
The Minister of Culture, Arts and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa, has observed that Nigeria's rich natural heritage festivals and creative economy can drive tourism, attract investment, and create jobs all year round. Speaking in Abuja at the unveiling of the Ember to Remember campaign, the minister says Nigeria must move beyond its traditional December tourism boom and deliberately package its cultural asset for a wider global audience. Sadia Yakubu has more.
The Minister of Culture, Arts and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa, says Nigeria's cultural identity and tourism potential extend far beyond the festive season. She further says Nigeria is seeking to transform its festive season momentum into a structured tourism opportunity, connecting culture and entertainment with investment, job creation, and economic growth. Musa said the goal is to attract Nigerians and diaspora and international visitors while making it easier to discover and experience Nigeria beyond December period.
Today marks the beginning of an important national conversation about how Nigeria presents itself, how we grow tourism as an economic sector, and how we deliberately position our country as a destination for Nigerians, the diaspora, and the world. What has been missing is a very deliberate structure that brings these experiences together and gives them visibility and allows us to market them as one powerful national story. That is what Ember to Remember seeks to achieve.
The Chief Executive Officer of My City App, Ifeoma Mbunu, says the platform will work with the Ministry and the National Council for Arts and Culture to expand the initiative into a broader January to December tourism calendar. She says a stronger tourism calendar could generate increased business for airlines, hotels, transport operators, restaurants, retailers, and local communities. She added that digital access will be key to connecting visitors with experiences across the country.
Bringing these experiences together, amplifying them, and presenting Nigeria to the world as a destination to experience during this period. Nigeria already has the culture, creativity, music, food, fashion, and destinations. What we need is greater than visibility and a better way for people to discover and plan their Nigerian experiences.
The initiative, running from September through December, brings together festivals, concerts, food, fashion, nightlife, homecomings, and destination experiences across the country. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
The Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Blessing Abebaku, has resigned from his position. Abebaku stepped down amid moves by some lawmakers to impeach him. His resignation was confirmed on Facebook by his media aide, Ivy Egbojele, who said further details on the circumstances surrounding his exit would be made public later. However, a member representing Akoko Edo Constituency 1, Yekini Idiaye, has become the new Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly. Idiaye is a third-term member of the Assembly and takes over after the resignation of the former Speaker, Blessing Abebaku. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. This large convective storm system currently over the northeastern part of the country is gradually pushing westwards. And by Tuesday morning, it could bring thunderstorms with rain to parts of the Federal Capital Territory, some parts of Nasarawa, Kogi, Niger, Kwara, Kebbi, some parts of the northwestern region, and also Taraba State. But there's some good news here. As the day wears on, conditions should gradually ease across most cities in the north and central parts of the country, and further south, the southeast and parts of Ondo State may experience light rainfall. So if you're stepping out early, keep an umbrella handy, especially if you're in affected areas. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the Nigerian Economy Summit Group, NESG, is set to convene an industrialization and competitiveness forum to examine strategies for strengthening Nigeria's manufacturing sector, improving productivity, and enhancing the country's economic competitiveness. The virtual forum, scheduled for Wednesday, August 19th, will bring together policymakers and business leaders, economists, and other stakeholders to deliberate on industrial policy, investment, productivity, and measures required to accelerate industrial development. According to the NESG, discussions will focus on some of the key challenges constraining industrial growth in Nigeria, while exploring policy and private sector interventions capable of improving the operating environment for businesses, attracting investment, and supporting sustainable economic growth. Kano State government has denied a report by Civic Accountability Platform Tracker, alleging that over 230 million naira was budgeted for the construction of 4 classroom blocks at Government Girls Secondary School, Masu, in Somalia local government area of the state. Now, addressing a news conference, the State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Abdullahi Waya, described the report as false and misleading, saying it does not reflect the transparency of the administration in budget preparation and execution. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin tells us more.
August 5th, 2026, Civic Accountability Platform Tracker published a report claiming that the Kano State government has budgeted over 230 million naira for the construction of 4 classroom blocks at Government Girls Secondary School Masu in Sumaila local government area. But the State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Waya, has dismissed the claim as misleading. Waya says the report does not correspond with the actual provisions of the state's approved budget, warning that such inaccurate information could create a false impression about the administration of Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf.
The Kano State government has noted with concern an ill-fated, unbalanced and factually incorrect report which circulated on social media by an organization called Tracker, alleging that the sum of 235.4 million was paid in the 2025 budget for the construction of classrooms at Government Girls Secondary School Masu, Sumaila local government, a school that does not even exist.
The Commissioner says the administration welcomes constructive criticism and accountability, but will not accept what he described as unsubstantiated claims. He challenged Tracker to provide concrete evidence to support its reports and explain how it arrived at the figure attributed to the Government Girls Secondary School Masu project. For the avoidance of doubt, the Commissioner explained that the Kano State budget approved by the State House of Assembly is valued at over 1 trillion naira, while education received one of the largest allocations. He says a review of the detailed budget provisions shows no allocation for the construction of 4 classroom blocks at Government Girls Secondary School Masu in Sumaila local government area, as claimed in the Tracker report.
Clearly, there was nothing like that. It was just only a proposal initially forwarded or advanced by the member representing the local government, but it was never captured in the budget.
The state government says it will engage the management of Tracker to establish how the figures contained in the report were obtained. It also urged residents to verify information before accepting or sharing reports that could, according to the government, misrepresent its policies, programs, and budget implementation.
Very civil, and as far as this government is concerned, it's a citizen-driven, and we believe that we welcome criticisms, and we are people that really work with. We work very closely with the civil society, donor organization. We believe in them. We believe in what they are doing, and we respect them so much. But we are only cautioning that. We are only urging them to be very cautious. And
the administration says it remains committed to transparency, accountability, and effective implementation of projects across the state. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
On the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the Pentagon to sustainably reduce joint military exercise with South Korea, as the drills are inappropriate and hostile towards North Korea. The move comes hours before the start of the 11-day exercises, with Trump citing his relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and calling for renewed dialogue with Pyongyang. Mukhtar Qasim reports.
Trump's decision has once again placed his relationship with Northern Korean leader Kim Jong-un at the center of Washington's approach to Pyongyang. The two leaders have previously held historic meetings aimed at reducing tensions and opening the way for negotiations over North Korea's nuclear program. Their first meeting in Singapore in 2018 was marked by a highly publicized handshake and a series of meetings that Trump described as the beginning of a new relationship between the two countries. The leaders later signed an agreement committing to work towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, while the United States pledged security guarantees to North Korea. Trump also said at the time that he had developed a special bond with Kim and would invite him to the White House. The relationship, however, has not produced a comprehensive agreement on North Korea's nuclear program and missile programs, and the two leaders last met in person in 2019. Now, Trump says his relationship with Kim is one of the reasons he is unhappy with the continued United States-Korea military exercise, which Pyongyang has consistently condemned as rehearsals for an invasion. The 11 days drill involves 18,000 South Korean troops and United States forces stationed in South Korea, with the exercise focused on areas including drone warfare, GPS disruption, and cyber attacks. Trump's move could reopen questions about whether his personal relationship with Kim can eventually lead to a return to direct negotiations, even as analysts warn that scaling back the exercises may not be enough to bring Pyongyang back to the negotiation table. Mukhtar Qasim, Global TV News.
Still on the foreign news, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has his right-wing rival Fabio Bolsonaro have officially launched their campaign for the October presidential election, setting the stage for a closely fought contest. Both candidates are seeking to win over women voters and a wary electorate as the country prepares for another highly polarized election. Again, Mukhtar Qasim tells us more.
Thousands of supporters gathered in San Bernardo de Campo in Sao Paulo State as President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva formally launched his campaign for a fourth and final term in office. The rally was held in the political stronghold, where Lula began his career as a metal worker and trade unionist in the 1970s, with his Workers' Party estimating the crowd at about 40,000 people. Lula placed women's rights at the center of his campaign, stressing equality between men and women and seeking to strengthen his support among female voters, who account for 53% of Brazil's electorate. His campaign is also highlighting his record on social programs, tax reforms, and efforts to reduce deforestation, while accusing the United States of attempting to exert pressure on Brazil's politics through tariffs and public comment. Meanwhile, Senator Flavio Bolsonaro launched his campaign at Rio de Janeiro's Copacabana Beach, presenting himself as the candidate who can preserve the political legacy of his father, former President Jair Bolsonaro. The younger Bolsonaro enters the race after his father was jailed over an attempted coup following his defeat by Lula in the 2022 election. Flavio has campaigned on promises to tackle crime, corruption, high food prices, and public debt, while presenting himself as a more moderate alternative to his father. Brazil will go to the polls on October 4, with opinion polls indicating a closely contested battle and the possibility of a runoff between Lula and Bolsonaro. Mukhtar Qasim, Global TV News.
In sports news now, the National Institute for Sports, NIS, has commenced an 8-week summer basic coaching program in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. The initiative is aimed at strengthening coaching capacity and promoting grassroots sports development. Sports correspondent Anete Patrick will bring us details in our subsequent bulletin. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories again. Brought to you by the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike Lere Olayinka, has defended the FCT administration following flooding recorded in parts of Abuja after heavy rainfall on Saturday. In business, the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, NESG, is set to convene an industrialization and competitiveness forum to examine strategies for strengthening Nigeria's manufacturing sector, improving productivity, and enhancing the country's economic competitiveness. And on the foreign scene, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and his right-wing rival Flavio Bolsonaro have officially launched their campaign for the October presidential election, setting the stage for a closely fought contest. And finally, in sports, the National Institute for Sports, NIS, has commenced an 8-week summer basic coaching program in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. And that's it on News Prime. Here's a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.